Like, when did you know, now I am a man and no longer a boy?
The moment that I kind of accepted that I have maximum responsibility on this thing was when I had to pay rent the second time. So the first time was easy because, you know, how you save, you move out. The second time shocked me, like, oh gosh, I have to do this thing again.
After everyone saying sorry, the next thing they told me is, you're the mother now. Because I was very close to my mother, to now be told you're the mother and you're grieving, you're shell-shocked.
So yeah, I felt like I failed as a person because I felt like I was failing and not being either present, or even as I was present, was I being good enough? And when I was being good, was I being too good? Did I need to be a little bit bad?
But I can't afford to take her to this place. But I'm the provider. So I'm not really in a position to tell her, see, we go half and half. It's not really...
To flip the question around, and I'll have Jackie and Rachel chime in on this. So, based on the conditioning and how we've been brought up and what we see and the norms and the things we're trying to reverse, when was the last time that you spotted something happening or something a man was doing and you thought that was a failure in his, I don't say manhood because that changes the meaning of everything. And this is not that type of podcast. But in his masculinity. So as women, are there things you've seen happen that you think that's really not how masculinity should be? Maybe based on the training that you went through. If at all you were raised by the lion. Are there any women who want to chime in as well at this point? Shefa.
First, I forgive you for singling me out. I was really thriving.
With your gin.
It is, right? Anyway, so I use relevant examples, and I always use my brother because I feel like he's a safe space to throw under the bus. I'm just saying. So generally the conditioning is so the man is supposed to be masculine and strong, and physically, mentally, emotionally, just strength all over, right? So I remember there's a day when, stupid example, there's a cockroach in the house. I am in the bedroom. He's in the living room where the cockroach has crept in. This was in our old house. And this person who's supposed to be strong and all-knowing, can take care of all animals, wild and non-wild, screams on top of his lungs and calls me, right? And because he calls me honey, so it's like, honey, there's a problem. So I'm like, what the hell? I ran to the living room and there's like a tiny cockroach. And I'm looking at him like, look at you failing us. Honestly, this is a failure. Seriously. Right? So it's those little things that are actually very, very, they're very small, right? But on a grand scheme of things, just looking and understanding that was my perception of what he was supposed to be. That I had dehumanized him because I had expected him to not be scared of things that could actually scare him. Right? And I'd expected him to do what he was just like, this is impossible. The only person I should call is Shefa to come and fix this situation, right? And then, of course, there's other examples where you're just thinking, why don't you know this stuff? Like, you're a man. You have masculinity. Use them. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that's...
Oh, masculinity. Does anyone else want to chime in before I Kamal? So, sure, right at the back.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
So I'm a mother of two teenagers, an 18 and a 14-year-old. And my 14-year-old, he was about, I think, 11 or 12, and he cried. So I told him, stop crying like a girl. And my daughter, who's 4 years older than him, at that point said, Mom, what do you mean, stop crying like a girl? aren't boys allowed to cry? And so for the mom that I am, I try to think I'm cool, I know it all. I was admonished by my teenage daughter who said, it's okay for boys to cry as well. And I was glad that she's got that kind of mindset, that it is okay to see a man cry, because he's not weak if he cries or admits to his, he's not strong enough, or strengths or weaknesses or whatever. But I was glad that he was allowed to express himself. And I apologized. I did apologize for that. And I stopped saying, stop doing this like a girl, or stop doing this like a boy. So it really doesn't matter. You're doing it, you're just doing it. Cockroaches or not.
Did you want to add on to anything?
It was a stranger.
Okay.
So I was at a training somewhere in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And this guy had a flat tire. And he was just standing there. He's like, he went to ask the watchman, can you help me? And I was like, I can help you.
Yeah.
And I was pregnant, but I was like, I can help you.
Wow.
So the guy's like, Kapana, no, mama nawake. I was like, I can do this. Anyway, I wound up changing his tire. So he just...
What?
So for me, I want to contribute more on bills. I know it's very common in Nairobi when you're out with guys, and then you say, maybe you're the one who has taken them out, and then the bill...
What?
Guys, with guys. Yeah. With guys. Women pay bills.
Taken
yeah?
them out.
Women pay bill. Girls pay bills in Nairobi. And we don't talk the way, we don't say the way guys go parading, taking aujas and saying, you see?
Kwa ground.
No, reality.
Kwa ground.
Reality. Yeah? Reality.
So what was your story?
So my story is this. I was out with guys, and most are comrades. Comrades meaning also they are activists. And then I was the one who was taking them out for a drink. And then the bill came, and then the waiter gave one guy the bill. I was like, excuse me, can you please come? I need to do for you some advocacy here. Like, why did you decide to give one of these guys the bill instead of me? And I was the one who had brought them here. This bill belongs to me. So he was like, she was a she, not even a he. And she was like, but you know, they are guys. I was like, no, we need to learn these things. Not all the time guys pay bill. Even women and girls pay bill. And most of the time, it's very problematic when you take the bill to the girls. To the boys, you intimidate the girls. So you should learn it. You should ask, who does the bill belong to? And for me, I get irritated when such things happen. And then when you guys do it and then you parade. But I ended up paying the bill and giving a tip. And I was like, next time you need to ask. So I think, guys, you should also learn this. It does not mean when your girls or your partner takes you out, they ask for bill, they intimidate you. Me, I know a lot of women in this Nairobi, a lot of girls who pay bills, who pay rent even for men. And they don't talk. They don't talk.
So on that note, I want us to so Shiro will have to do a lot of running, because I'll start with our panelists, right? And ask, when you think of the word woman, what are some of the descriptive words that come to your mind that you attach to that rule? So, for example, one that's always pushed forward, and I've never felt it, so I really had to mentally say, okay, that's for other people, not me. When they say women are natural nurturers. Me, I'm of the opinion, kila mtu na tumbo yake. If I'm hungry, I sort myself, because it's a survival skill, right? Eating is not, I don't enjoy eating first and foremost, right? So I'm poor eating habits. So when it comes to food, it's because if not, I'm going to die. So it's not something I'm doing because I am a woman. So when that tag is attached to women, I know personally it took me a long time to understand even if I'm not a nurturer naturally, because it's always pushed that naturally women are nurturers. I'm like, naturally where? I don't feel it. I used to think something was wrong with me until I was like, no, you don't have to subscribe to that description, right? So the word is woman. What are the descriptive words that come to your mind? And so while we're answering them here, just wave your hand and Shiro is going to bring the mic to you if a word comes to your mind.
So I'll start with beautiful. Yeah, for women. Strong. Though I feel strong has a double connotation to it, in that strong that you'll accept anything that's thrown your way. Strong in that you'll pick up every which nonsense. Anyway, strong for me, it has very many meanings and not all of them positive. The other one is reliable. You know, like for most guys here whose moms are still alive, you know you can count on your mom. You know that she has your back. I don't know how many people can genuinely say that about their fathers, unfortunately.
Wacha kutupa
Feel free
tear
to
gas.
disagree. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to disagree. No, it's like, even, remember I said earlier my mom passed away when I was 17, and so many people came and came and said, saying, oh, you know what? Afadhali mama abaki, mama ujali watoto, afadhali baba ende. And it's something that's said a lot when a young mother passes away. Yeah? So it's back to strong. Yeah? Yeah. And which last?
Okay, so strong, we're going to put an asterisk on strong, right? We'll come back to it. Tattoo?
I mean, the first thing I'll say is, I don't know whether it's like this for most men, but like, I've noticed my definitions of womanhood, what it means to be a woman, come from my perception of my mom. And so 2 words come to mind, wisdom and resourceful. My mom is incredibly wise. And my dad traveled a lot, so she was the one who was giving us a lot of the advice as we were growing up, and a lot of the teachings and all of that stuff. Resourceful. Up until now, I'm not the best with like cash. You know, I'm just like, we're just here, you know. I mean, why not, you know? Are there martinis in heaven? I don't know. So, but then my wife is extremely resourceful, you know, and so that's a quality I really, really admire.
All right. Rachel, Dan.
For me, I'll go with fighters. And being specific on the kind of struggles women we go through, but we're able to fight despite social norms working against us. And I'll give a very clear example of the femicide cases that have been happening in this country. And the way it has been more blaming the young women and blaming us on our being of existence and not blaming the guys. And most of the cases, if you look, if it happened to cases that there was some of engagement of consensual agreement, if the guy was married, there's some way the blame usually shifts to this girl and being dehumanized, even still when they're dead. But still women have been able to organize and not giving up, continue fighting and calling out all this oppression. So for me, that's very powerful on how women, we fight different way and in different style, but we don't give up. We continue fighting. Like our life is more on struggle, fighting every day, fighting in our houses, fighting on even our existence through our friends who are sexist. Like telling them like you have to stop being sexist. And some calling us we are very problematic as feminists. And for me, I wonder, we are not bombs. Are we problematic? We're just calling out oppression that is working against us. Yeah.
Fighters, okay.
You said they're not bombs.
Done.
That's so funny. I have to borrow that. Anyway,
For a song.
I think there's many adjectives, obviously. There's the, indecisive, weak, those ones are kind of there. But I think the one that for me...
Wait, indecisive?
Yeah,
Weak.
it's an adjective,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
People use, emotional. Yeah.
Oh, emotional, yeah.
That's also
okay.
one that is used. The
Yeah,
one
I've heard
that,
that.
there's the other one. I guess is tied to what we're saying is also resilience. And I've learned this from my friends in conversations like these. That one also has like two sides.
Yeah.
Where there's the good side where people are like human beings are going through situations and are trying to survive them and make the best. And then there's the other side where there's an assumption of resilience. So put all the bad things on this person. They are resilient anyway, what survive, which is the kind of negative side of that.
All right. Can we add on some more adjectives? So, and even if it's a negative one that you've heard, because emotional, clap as a woman if you've been told that you are too emotional to lead or too blah, blah, blah. I think the mic needs to be brought here.
Okay. But you are talking about how, like women, it was something I was watching about Taylor Swift the other day. I love her, don't ask. She was saying how men are allowed to react, but women can only overreact. And if there's something, I'm sure a lot of women here have been told a number of times is crazy. I hate that. Angry, I hate it even more. And you need to calm down. Like, what the hell? And I don't know which man has ever told a woman to calm down and she came. What's the calmed down? Even the English is going. And then she calmed down. Yeah, it's like
It doesn't work.
And another thing we were just talking about right now is like you can be like men are also allowed to have a bad day. But as a woman, if you're having a bad day, the automatic assumption is that you're on your period. And I'm like, maybe you've just annoyed me. Maybe you're an asshole. You've spoiled my day. But we are not allowed that. Because, yeah, and because there was someone who told me once, Ananyesha. I had to be like, hey, can you class it up a bit? First of all, don't say that. And if you have to say it, please don't say Kwani Ananyesha. I was like, what is this? So, yeah, sentiments from this shy table over here.
Wow. I think that's true. Like the emotional one happens so often. And even I hate that it's pushed as though it's a weakness to be able to be emotional and feel and to be able to communicate your emotions. I think only the strongest people really know how to do that. Has anybody else gotten any other adjectives? Oh, there's a hand up here.
Hi guys. So many times I've been told that I'm a overthinker. And I always don't feel like I'm an overthinker, but I feel I'm a rationalizer. I'm just like having a deep thought of certain patterns that I've seen before. So yeah, so many times I've been told I'm an overthinker. But I don't feel like I'm one. I just feel like I'm rationalizing more and more with regards to the patterns that I've seen earlier in my life. Yeah.
Maybe it's even like attention to detail, like if you're...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So then now I want to flip it to descriptive words when you think man. And these words can be either the desired, like, so the good, like, he can fight cockroaches. Right? And also the ones that you're like, I can't, this is problematic, right? So good or bad. So the same way as women, it could be, oh, she's too emotional. Ananyesha would say that. And also the others as well. So for the men, are there any other, when you think man, what are some of the descriptive words that come to your minds? And don't start painting for us your dream man. Yeah, please. I'll go provider, which you mentioned earlier on. Provider. That's actually kidogo there.
I want to say powerful. Just because people expect that. There's a real expectation to be in control of situations. for dudes, and sometimes, there's a thief outside. I can't control that. That's not a thing I can control. So, and I'm not going out there.
Okay. Why is your life like a movie? Rachel.
What about for those who are single, who don't have partners?
I don't know, man. How is it?
So what are the descriptive words? So man, so
Emotional? Because most of the time it's usually used against me by men, even in interviews. When I'm pushing them on the wall, you're too emotional. So even me, I want to see a man who is emotional and sensitive.
emotional and sensitive.
Yeah.
Powerful. Jackie.
You stole mine because I was like, my husband's gonna watch this, so I was gonna say provider, planner. I'll use those two. The other one that I truly feel that I should say here is batterer.
Batterer.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not my husband. Batterer.
Batterer. Okay.
The word that comes to mind is withdrawn, or whatever adjective you would use for someone who struggles to open up about how they genuinely feel about something. I mean, you think KG, I don't know. But it's a quality that I see in a lot of men, and it's a quality that I have, and it's something that I've literally been working on for years, where there are literally times where I want to open up but nothing comes out. Like, not because I don't want to open up, but I literally don't know how to even begin to do that, you know?
So like with emotions, to be able to open up about what you're feeling?
Yeah, and along with that, I would say men are very complex. There's this idea that women are very complex individuals and men are very simple. But I think men are very, very complex. And it's part of that complexity, you see it when a man is trying to unravel what's happening in his head and express it to you. Like, I acted this way because I was insecure about A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. Like, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
That's where's Shiro? Where is Shiro? I can't see you. Is she upstairs? Okay, so we go to Trevor and then we'll come to you.
All right, so my name is Trevor Mbija. I work with Citizen TV. What Tetu is trying to describe has a clinical name. It's called normative male alexithymia. It's an actual problem that has a clinical definition. But when I think of a man, the first thing that comes to my mind is tolerant. And with that, it also ties into failure, because I have examples where you walk out of a 5-year-old relationship, everybody all of a sudden believes you're the one who failed. You're supposed to be tolerant because women are from Mars. And like they said, some husbands are from heaven. Some of us just walk this earth. We just appeared. So it's a very complicated situation, like Tetu was saying. But for me, tolerant comes to mind first. You're supposed to take in so much that even you don't know how to handle. And it makes it even worse that you can't even talk about it, because then the only person you can talk to is your spouse or your wife. And then now they turn into your therapist rather than your partner. And that is also overburdening to them. Yeah.
That's interesting, because resilience came up a lot with women. And if you've been to those typical, we'll bring the mic to you. If you've been to those typical bridal showers, thank God I did not have those, you're told marriage ni kuvumilia, right? And you're wondering, why am I signing up for struggle? Why? So it's interesting that tolerance comes up for the male descriptions, and for women, there's the resilience. Has the mic reached? Okay.
Hi, guys. So the first word that comes is insecure. You guys are so insecure for no reason, which brings up the second word, overcompensator. I don't think it's in the dictionary, but I'm not sure. You see, your insecurity makes you overcompensate. You said something that I've been thinking about ever since you said. You took a girl out and you had half the bill. Did you ever ask her if she had the other half? No. I'm sure no. because you wanted to still build up this whole, provider guy, and which I don't fault you for it. Which brings us back to what Tetu said. There is no taught definition of manhood. You teach yourself, right? You sit down and think, for me, a man can do X, Y, maybe Z. And so you see, you don't have a taught definition, so you want to overdo, quote unquote, everything, because to you, you have to be the head, never the tail. And so you're insecure about a lot of things. Have I done this right? Have I not? If not, if X comes and does it better, where will I be? Oi. So because of that, I have to, So yeah, those are the two words that come to head when I think of a man, which you guys should think about for real. Like, sit down, evaluate. Yeah.
In the last,
Thank you.
In the last episode, for both men and women, introspection was something that came up. Just to always introspect. You know what I mean? But thank you so much. I think you're the first ever contributor who has sound effects. I'll be using that for like 1 week. But I think, even as we're laughing about these things, it's really important, and we're still peeling, right? So we're going to get to the point where we figure out, where did we think that provider is attached to men? Like, who told us that that's the thing, right? The nurturer, who told us that that's it? Resilience and strength. Batterer and aggression. What influenced that? But we'll get to that in a bit. The mic is... Oh, Musa.
Hi, Adele.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm here today.
Oi.
I'm not allowed to say such things.
I'm playing.
Okay.
I'm playing. Safe space, guys. Safe space.
Okay, so first, I'd just like to respond to something. I'm going to take us a bit off track.
Okay.
There's something Miss Luila said, and she doesn't realize how privileged she is to be able to overreact or react, whichever way you want to put it. We were having a little discussion here with my desk mates, and the same thing came up. So she says that as a woman, when you have a reaction, you're always told that you're overreacting.
Yeah.
So we were discussing here with Rosa and Victor how privileged women are, and they don't realize. As a man, you don't have room for that. Your wiggle room is very... Can I finish? Your wiggle room is very little. Like, we took an example of when a man is angry and when a woman is angry. Rosa, my desk mate here, is like right next to me. If I stand and I'm shouting and she's shouting, or if I'm shouting at her, it's a very thin line between me being violent and her being threatened. You get what I'm saying?
I get you.
As a man, you're not allowed to express yourself in that way. Emotionally, exactly. The woman can be just as angry as you are, but you cannot express that. You're not allowed to, because you're supposed to be this, I think Trevor said it, tolerant. And we know as a woman, and when the woman is emotional or overly emotional, whichever way you want to put it, we'll always come back and say, okay, babe, like you'll forgive her because you think, yeah, women are emotional. They're allowed to. But what if I become emotional? What if I start breaking down here?
Okay.
You'll say, this guy is not a man, You get what I'm saying? And then, wait. Just one more thing. I'd like to respond to the lovely lady who's at the top.
Yeah.
Hi. She said something. She said something in the direction of what Dan had said earlier.
Okay, guys, let's listen. Let's listen to
like the date scenario. Like when you go on a date and you have half the bill. Us guys we don't choose our definition of what a man is. you get these definitions from, it's a summation of influences and experiences. Growing up, you're going to look at your dad. Growing up, you're going to look at your uncles. You're even going to look at people who are on TV. Like Uncle Phil is like a role model, you know? Like he's the pinnacle of a father, you know? Those are the things that you see. And everywhere you see it, you see a man as the provider. It's not that it's now I want to compensate or my ego does not allow me. It's you see these things growing up and you emulate. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You emulate the same thing as you grow up. So it's not us who sit down and decide, okay, actually today, being a man is this. No, you see it. And that's why you will see there are different kinds of men as you interact with people on a day-to-day.
And I love that this episode has the men opening up. So let's listen and we'll bring the mic round and then you can respond. I know you wanted to say something. And we will get to that point. I wanted us to then investigate as to, okay, we have these set of adjectives. Maybe we don't identify with them, or maybe we're trying to live up to them, but where did they come from to begin with? We've never really investigated why should it be girls only should cry. You know what I mean? So where was the breakdown? But hi.
Hi. I don't know what the adjective is for this, but it's the fact that in any relationship dynamic, if there's something that goes wrong, it's the man that's to take the blame for it. Regardless, no, just wait. And also the fact that if a relationship breaks down, as a man, it's a responsibility to protect the reputation of the woman. Whereas on the flip side, the woman is at liberty to bear it all in terms of the man's shortcomings. Whereas the man doesn't have the liberty or feels that he doesn't have the liberty. It may not be something that's been expressed overtly, but it's something that's innate to men, that it's our role to protect the identity of the woman. And I have the benefit of being with my wife here. And some time back, if we had a disagreement, she would expect me to equally be engaged with her in that disagreement. And for her, that was a connection. Whereas for me, just building up on what has been said, I feel as a man I have to hold back and think through what I'm about to say, because I cannot just express myself without a plan, because it will end up being something else.
That's actually, okay, so now I'm seeing a link. Wait, no, the link is here. In terms of trying to express your emotions, so that's something you battle with. And then the reaction if you do express the emotions, and so then choosing just not to do it or not to engage, right? Okay, that's quite interesting. Liz, hi.
Hi, my name is Liz. So mine is more of something I'll throw out as people can pick up as conversation. And I look back and I think maybe what is deep-rooted is culture, the way we have been raised. And I've seen myself in situations whereby I would look at a man as a provider, and then after a few minutes, I'll sit back and I'll think, we are both human, you know? So maybe they cannot meet our ends. So at one point, I'll give an example. I was seated in a table whereby we are of different cultures. And my friend was very upset. And I asked her, what's bugging you, you know? Then she was like, I don't understand this men. In Africa, men are meant to be the providers. So I sat down and I told her, probably your man cannot meet ends right now. But then I felt like I was being at a stage of double standards. If I was in the same situation, I'd probably have said the same thing. Then I sat down and I tried to think about it. And I was like, you know what? Men have been told they need to be strong. They need to provide for us. But we need to pause for a minute. We are a different generation now. How about we sit back and look at men as just human beings? And so this is more of a conversation. So about culture, and how about now we stop and think about men as human beings, and that way they can open up more and he can actually ask his date to go half enough.
Ladies, would you pay your own dowry if I don't have the money? You see, that's double standard because we're in a relationship together.
That's fair enough if the woman isn't earning, but I think that if the woman is out there earning, then the man should come home and cook too and clean too.
I think it's human nature to just always blame people, to point a finger and never to look at ourselves. So I think it's just general social conditioning, because if you look at the story from creation, men and women had their roles since then.
And we don't cry because we know the effect of our tears. If we cry in front of the family, it will break them.
If he cries, a man's tears means something. It is supposed to move us, it's supposed to shake us. But then I'm wondering, why are tears having hierarchy? It is just tears.